Hello, I'm Matthew Malcolm with American Vineyard Magazine, reporting to you from the Unified Wine and Grape Symposium here in downtown Sacramento. It's that time of the year. We've had a great State of the Industry presentation featuring a panel of speakers, including Glenn Proctor here from the Ciatti Company. He's a partner and a broker there. You do a fantastic job keeping up with what's going, keeping the pulse on the market. I think it's been a tough year. It's been a tough couple of years, and growers particularly are wondering, when is it going to get better? And I think you said it hasn't been this bad since the 80s, which that's a long time, and not a lot of people are here to remember that. But wanted to talk with you about some of the global wine economics you're seeing and the trends there, and how that might influence what we can expect in the near future with the California wine industry.
Yeah, thanks. I guess when we said it's not been this tough since the late 80s, really goes back to the fact during that time we were seeing declines in terms of case good sales, excesses in the industry, and a lot of people having to make some tough decisions. And there was a lot of creativity in the market then, and I'm hopeful as we go forward in this market, we'll see creativity, brands, things that are going to bring in new customers that'll continue to move us to a more stable position longer term. The one thing we brought up when you looked at the global market is a lot of the countries in the global market actually went through the downturn, a weakness in their market before we did here in California, and we're starting to see a few of those areas come back and strengthen. And really what's happened there, and maybe something we can learn from or repeat, I guess, is that they've removed vines. So within Australia, France, Chile, significant amounts of vineyards removed. That's really correlated, and they've had some weather events with some lower harvests the last few years, and there's been a few positive demand developments where they're selling a little more wine, and all of a sudden that's helped stabilize that market. And I think we're going to look for those kind of triggers in our market, but given we followed them, I guess they were ahead of us there. Maybe they're ahead of us recovering, and we'll start to see some benefit of that as we move forward too.
I mean, it's challenging to compare because California, particularly, the cost of producing this wine is so much more than many other places in the country and in the world, and so being able to hold out through this and not have the subsidies that some other growers in other countries have is it going to be a challenge. It's going to be a rough ride, but having a sign of recovery in sight, I think with what you're seeing, there's hope. Right?
Yeah, I think, again, we're optimistic still about the wine business. It's still going to be tough. That's the reality of the market. Yeah, and again, we don't get some of the benefits you get in other countries. At the same time, most other countries are trying to sell their wine in the U.S. market because we're the biggest and most active wine market in the world. So, we've got some pluses and minuses there, but I think as we go forward, we're going to start to see some stabilization. We really need to see sales start to stabilize, and we use today flat as the new up. If we could just start to see some flat demand numbers, I think wineries would be able to plan and have some confidence in those future numbers, and they'd start making commitments. But until we see that, there's just a lot of cautiousness in the market. But as Danny Brager talked today, I mean, there's certain things doing well. And some of that areas that it's doing well are some of the lower price wines or wines that are more accessible to younger people, and those are growing. And I think we need to kind of invest in those products to really invest in that consumer long term, because in my day we used to go back and it used to be white Zinfandel, and you started with white Zinfandel and then you went to generic white wine and then you went to Chardonnay, and there was kind of a progression, right? Well, we have to introduce people to wine and really make it relevant and really develop a relationship with them. And that's work, but I think we can do that.
Well, thank you, Glenn. Really appreciate the insights today. And, just your work at Ciatti. You guys do a great job helping this, the product, this wine gets sold. Being that middleman, you guys do a great job. Read more about these things in our publications, American Vineyard. I'm Matthew Malcolm, CaliforniaAgNet.com.